Hello, and in this part 2 IELTS speaking video, I'm going to look at the topic, describe a time you went out with your friends and had a good time. You should say where you went, when you went, what you did, and explain why you had a good time. I was struggling to pick a particular time for this, because whenever I go out with my friends, I have a great time. So I'm just going to talk about the last time we went out. When I was studying in high school, I used to go out with my friends a lot, but as you get older, it gets harder to find the time to meet up, because we're all leading such hectic lives. To be perfectly honest, I'm not the best at making arrangements to meet up, but I have a close circle of friends, and the others make sure we get together on a monthly basis for a catch-up. Anyway, so last month we got together for our monthly night out and went to a local restaurant. We tend to eat out rather than going to the cinema because it's easier to chat and we usually have so much to catch up on. Sometimes not everyone can make it due to other commitments, but last month everyone was there, so it was great. We tend to go to a different restaurant every time we meet up because we like trying new things. On this particular occasion, we tried a new Italian restaurant that has just opened. We shared antipasti to start and then had pizza for our main course. For afters, despite being stuffed, we had to have gelato because it was homemade and they had the most incredible flavours. Good company and tasty food are a great combination, so we all had a fabulous night catching up. Even though we don't see each other as regularly as we'd like, it's great seeing old and close friends because you just pick up where you left off and there are no awkward silences. I can't wait to do it again soon. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the language in this answer. I chose a very simple thing to talk about because I didn't want to choose anything like paintballing or rally car driving because you wouldn't all have done it. But hopefully everybody meets up with their friends in a restaurant so you can talk about this. But you can use, again, this starting sentence. I was struggling, so I was finding it difficult to choose a particular time. So I'm just going to talk about the last time rather than one in particular. And I'm just saying this to get some more complex language in there. A particular time, a specific time. Because when I was studying in high school, I used to. If you've watched a lot of my videos, you know I try to use this as much as possible to get some past continuous in there because it really impresses the IELTS examiner. So I used to go out with my friends a lot, but as you get older, it's harder to find the time to meet up. This just means to meet. We're all leading such hectic lives. Very useful for IELTS writing as well, but don't contract it. You could say everyone is leading such hectic lives. And it means we're all very, very busy. To lead a hectic life, hectic means busy. It's a very good collocation. To be perfectly honest, try to get it in there at some point. I'm not the best at making arrangements to meet up, so I'm not very good at making arrangements to meet with other people. Because this is about friends, this is a very useful collocation, and we talk about circles of friends. So I have a close circle of friends. The others, that means the other people, the others. We get together, we meet up on a monthly basis. Remember, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on an annual basis, can be used instead of weekly, monthly, annually, yearly. I've used the verb to catch up a lot in this answer. It's very good for this topic, and it means to get together with people and find out what you've been doing. It's like to meet up, and you can use it as a noun, a catch up. Anyway, it's just a useful filler little word to go on to your next point. Our monthly night out, because we meet on a monthly basis. A local restaurant, so a restaurant in your neighbourhood. Using tend to a lot because it's very useful. It's a verb that you just use with the infinitive of another verb. We tend to eat out, and it means like we usually eat out. To chat, to talk, we have so much to catch up on. This idea of catching up is meeting with someone and finding out what they've been doing and telling them what you've been doing. So very useful phrasal verb, quite idiomatic, and will impress the IELTS examiner when talking about this topic. Sometimes not everyone can make it. To make it means be there. So I say a lot in English if somebody says, oh, are you coming to the cinema later? Sorry, I can't make it. And it means I can't be there because I'm busy. Due to, because of, other commitments. A commitment is a prior arrangement, something you've already agreed to do. So here I'm using tend to again, so keep practicing using that because it's a very useful verb to use instead of just saying we go to a different restaurant. On this particular occasion, so this specific time, we shared antipasti, so I was trying to get a bit more complex vocabulary in here and some more unusual words that many IELTS candidates use. This is antipasti. It's an Italian word and it just means things that you eat to start the meal. It's usually some meat and cheese and bread and olive oil. So antipasti to start, so as a starter. And then pizza for our main course. When you have a meal, you have a starter, a main course and a pudding or dessert. We also call it afters because it's the food that comes after. So instead of saying for pudding, I'm saying for afters. This is quite idiomatic, very complex. Despite being. If you don't use despite in your writing, then start using it. It's very complex because you can use it with a verb. Instead of saying, although I was stuffed, stuff means hungry, you can use despite, and instead of saying I was, you take the verb to be and add an ing, despite being stuffed. It's very easy to use once you know how to use it, and it will impress in writing and speaking because it's a bit more complex in terms of grammar. So despite being stuffed, which is basically although I was very full. Stuffed is a very informal word, but good for this topic. Don't use it in writing. And very full. Gelato. This is gelato. It's the Italian word for ice cream. It's different to ice cream in that it's made with cream, but I'm just using it for it's a complex word. It was homemade and it had flavours. We talk about the flavour of ice cream, so vanilla, mint choc chip, mango, raspberry, strawberry, etc. These are the flavours. So when you go out and meet with people, you have good company and tasty food. So the people you are with are interesting and friendly and the food is good. Good company, tasty food. They're a great combination. A combination is a mixture. So these two things together are great. A great combination. And we had a fabulous night catching up. Even though, although, so I'm trying to be a bit more complex instead of using although all the time. We don't see each other as regularly, as often. It's great seeing old and close friends. There's not many words that collocate with friends. You know, best friends, old friends, close friends. Because you just pick up where you left off. To pick up where you left off is like you had a meeting a month ago and then you don't see each other for a month and then you feel comfortable. You can just start talking immediately and you pick up where you left off. It's like, okay, you just pick up from the moment where you finished a month ago and carry on. There are no awkward silences. This shows an awkward silence when you don't know what to say to the other person and you're struggling to make a conversation. So when you meet up with old friends, good friends, there might be new friends that you feel very comfortable with, but awkward silences are really horrible. So very useful for this topic to talk about awkward silences. So let's say there are 3 or 4 useful words and phrases from this video that you must learn to catch up with, catch up, awkward silences, close friends, a close circle of friends. And if you really want to be ambitious, to pick up where you left off. It's great seeing old and close friends because you just pick up where you left off. Let's have a look now at a part 3 question connected with this topic. Do science and technology improve the relationship between people? Oh, I'm not entirely sure. I'm in two minds. On the one hand, yes, they do, because we can keep in touch with relatives who live far away from us through apps like Skype. However, there may be less face-to-face contact nowadays because we just message people rather than meeting for a catch-up. So it both improves and damages relationships, I guess. So, a lot of questions where you can use this as your opening for your part 3 answer. Oh, I'm not entirely sure, and it means I don't know. I'm in two minds, and it's when you think, well, yes, it does improve, but yes, it also damages. So you're in the middle. I'm in two minds, and it's very useful because then you can look at one side and you can look at the other. Don't use it in writing, it's too informal, but it's fantastic for speaking. So on the one hand, we can keep in touch with relatives. These are our relations, our family, who live far away from us through apps, applications, like Skype. But the downside of this, less face-to-face contact, because we message people. That means send them a message. We can use message as a verb rather than meeting for a catch-up. So meeting and actually meeting face-to-face. So I'm saying at the end, it improves, but it also damages relationships, I guess. And we often put I guess on the end, saying like, this is what I think. So think about that as an option for a part 3 answer. I'm not entirely sure. I'm in two minds, and then look at one side and look at the other and compare them. Hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching.